Welcome to Sports in the City. Sports in the City. Keeping it gritty with that Sports in the City. I'm your man, Reed Richards, with my partner in crime, BK Ty, my brother from another mother. What's going on, family?
Salute, fam. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, man. You know what time it is. Tuesday, 7 p.m. Sports in the City. We about to get it. Strictly top shelf. You know how we do, baby. What's the first thing off the top of the pile is that New York State of Mind tour.
Salute to hip hop. Salute to hip hop's 50th, and salute to Nas, De La, and Wu-Tang. Incredible show at the Barclays. Incredible show. De La opened up. Well, DJ Scratch opened up, tore it down. He's incredible. Turntablist extraordinaire. Turntablists. Then we had De La Soul, who came out and did their thing. Rest in peace to Dave. Dave was replaced by Talib, who came out with De La. They tore it down. Then they brought in Pharaoh, and he just had everybody, Simon Says up in the joint. Get the fuck up, y'all. Let's do it. You know what I'm talking about?
Pharaoh Munch.
Pharaoh had it. They had it going on. Slight technical difficulties, which kind of blew me a little bit. When Paz was rapping, you really wasn't hearing his mic. There was some technical difficulties in the beginning, and it went almost 2 whole songs before they got his mic in order, which was kind of disappointing, but a good opening act nonetheless. Did they hits, did a couple of Talib joints, and burned it down with the Pharaoh Monch performance. Then came the Wu-Tang, which was crazy.
Nas came out first, right?
No, Wu came out.
I thought Nas came out first. Then they started mixing them together. Like
after De La went off.
Oh, the chef came out.
RZA came up there. Remember, RZA went to the top because it had like a double deck stage.
Right.
And he was up on the top with the band, and he introduced members of the Wu one by one as they came out. Did individual like verses or on either songs that they had or songs that they were on with other people. After that, they brought out Nas. Nas did his thing. I really like how they did it though, where you had Wu do a set, and you had Nas do a set, then you had Wu do another set.
Right, that's what I was talking about. They was bouncing it back and forth. I like that. That was definitely ill because you didn't get caught up into one artist for a certain amount of time, or maybe a song that you didn't like. It was like I remember one time we were standing up for like half hour straight.
Absolutely.
Just going it in. What was your favorite part of the show? When
Meth came on, to be honest with you, Meth is a showman. He gets it riled up. And when Meth came out there at first, because they did a song, I can't remember what song it was, where Meth, I think it was Ice Cream, where Meth does the hook, and Meth wasn't out there. I think Ray was doing the hook or RZA or somebody. But when they did the Wu's next set, that's when Meth came out.
Yeah, he came out at the end.
He did All I Need, Chicks Crazy in the House. It was definitely an awesome show. I think
definitely.
The one criticism or drawback I have was definitely the mics. Like Paz at first with De La, his not being audible enough for you to hear him for the first 2 songs. But then other members came out like Cap and Ghost, and certain members that were rhyming were kind of like shouting in the mic. So if you're not familiar with the songs and not a fan of the group, it could have kind of been a little turnoff, or I won't say a turnoff, but just one of those.
Technology, man, as Logic says, technology is not perfect. So what would you rate the concert, man, besides the technical difficulty?
Probably one of the best hip-hop concerts I've seen. I say going back to the Hard Knock Life tour.
Okay.
Which
Barclays Center was on fire in more ways than one. As soon as we got in there, man, they started blowing it up, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So the Barclays Center was on fire. Definitely check that New York State of Mind tour out. Any last thoughts before we move on?
No, man, it was, like I said, it was an awesome show. And the one thing I will say in that regard is definite pleasure to see a lot of these old school or older hip hop artists getting a lot of love on tour. You know, the big talk right now is how the newer artists, their shows are canceling or they can't sell out arenas and stuff like that. And you have old school artists. I definitely think they're getting a boost from the hip hop 50th anniversary theme this year. But I've seen a couple of shows this year, and I definitely tell you, man, it's definitely been a treat this year.
They've been doing their thing.
Absolutely.
So we're going to move along off the top of the pile. Your man Stephen A. Bombs, man, they had him out there throwing the first pitch at Yankee Stadium. We didn't get to light him up last week, but I think we got some footage of that. Your man Stephen A., if I'm correct, throwing that first pitch out.
Smith, the ESPN throwing out first.
Nigga, your man with his usual swag. There you go.
You know, I tell you what, man. Stephen A. gets a lot of flack from people, but I got a lot of respect.
Hold on, here we go.
Until that
he
moment,
bounced it,
until that moment, I had a lot of respect for that brother. You know what I will say in his defense?
No
at least
defense.
At least he got it. At least the ball made it to, or rather, got to the plate. Where
the catcher ain't even want to shake his hand,
he didn't
bro.
sail over the catcher's head or throw it into like right field or left field or anything like that. I mean, I'm thinking back to when 50 Cent threw out that first pitch at the Mets game. That was horrible. He bounced it, and then it didn't even go straight.
But Stephen A. pops off too much, man. He popped too much shit to throw that
well, you know, Stephen A. is not a
bouncer in front of the plate.
Stephen A. is not a baseball player, so you know that's different. That's different.
I saw a baseball player's mom from the Tampa Bay Rays, Renteria. His mom's got up to the mound and threw a first pitch strike. Bomb.
I saw that.
Strike, bro.
It was
so
beautiful.
I ain't giving Stephen A. no passes.
It was beautiful. Stephen A. is not a baseball guy, brother.
No passes, though.
Stephen A. is not a baseball guy. So
as
funny as it was, I'll tell you what, I give Stephen A. props for this.
Stephen A. man, I can't even
I tell you what,
right now.
I give Stephen A. props for this. He
what?
ate it.
For that?
He ate it. No, for the fact that he ate the criticism. It came at him, and he took it graciously. He took it graciously. He ain't make no excuse or cop out or any of that.
He does not have no choice, bro. You were supposed to represent New York City, but, you know, Ty's letting Stephen A. off the hook a little bit, man. But
like I said, he's not a baseball player, so it was funny, man. But I can give him a pass on that. I
ain't giving him no pass, man. Stephen A. do better, man.
To your point, man. I won't give him a pass for not practicing.
To do that.
For not practicing before that first pitch.
His mistake? His mistake was practicing on the level ground. He was practicing on the side on the level ground. You have to be on the mound because on the mound you up. You know, you raised on the elevated ground, and then you got to come down. Then he tried to wear the $1,000 kicks. He tried to have too much swag, man. But Stephen A. Ty is sending you a lifeline, man. So we go.
Hey, shouts out to Virginia Slim. He saw it like I saw it. At least it made it to the plate, man. At least he didn't throw it in left field or right field or over the catcher's head in the bleachers, man. I give him that
Virginia, New York state of mind. You gotta still make it across to the home plate, man. But he definitely goes down as one of the all-time worst first pitches of all time. Your man 50 is up there. Your
50 is one of the all-time.
Yo, we gonna have to cover that in one of your top fives one of these weeks. Bro.
Top 5 worst first pitches in Major League history.
Maybe we gonna have to cover one of those. Yeah, man. So we ain't gonna do that. Agree to disagree. Stephen A., you was trash. We moving on. Round ball around the world. WNBA Finals. Liberty frustrated the Connecticut Suns, taking the series 3-1. Liberty dropped 37 points in the first quarter, tying a playoff record in that game. You saw the Suns bickering and backering on their bench. Alyssa Thomas was beefing with everybody. She said she was tired. She needed help. Then your girl, DeWanna Bonner, had to pull the other players out of there. So what do you think about that, man? When you start cracking up on the court, that's a bad sign, bro.
Is absolutely a bad sign. It's, you know, pressure bust pipes, as they say. True. I think it was a situation, you know, with Alyssa Thomas, like Jimmy Butler, how, you know, your man comes out gangbusters and has to do so much. And then towards the end, he just kind of runs out of gas. because he's spending so much of the series carrying the team, doing so much. So I definitely think it was a similar situation for Connecticut. And, you know, at the same time, I think maybe Connecticut, I don't say got a false sense of security or maybe feeling like they had a chance, but there's no way in the world they should have won that first game. This series should have been over 3-0. And I think that first game was a blip, and the Liberty just came in and handled business like they were supposed to. I mean, the beginning of the year, it was going to be a battle of the super teams in the finals, and it looks like it's definitely going to be that way. Shouts out to the Liberty. Shouts out to the Las Vegas Aces. You know
the Aces sweep the Wings. They had barbecue wings, man. They swept them off the court. They dominated the Dallas Wings, sweeping the series 3-0. Asia Wilson, though, she's playing with a chip on her shoulder because in the MVP race, she came in third. And a lot of people saying that she got slighted for her second straight MVP, which was granted to Breanna Stewart from the New York Liberty. And then Alyssa Thomas came in second place. There was like one vote separated first, second, and third place. It was a very tight race. But what are your thoughts on the MVP race? And Asia
first of all,
with a chip on her shoulder.
First of all, shouts out to Breanna Stewart, for bringing the New York Liberty their first MVP player in the team's history. And also shout out to Breanna for winning her second MVP. Of course, she won one in 2018 as a member of the Seattle Storm. Asia Wilson, I think that's that Kobe or Jordan stuff. You know, you're trying to find some kind of fuel for your fire. You know, something to get you amped up so you're ready to play, so you can put your best foot forward. I mean, Asia Wilson has won 2 MVPs already. To say she got slighted, you know, you could have an argument there, but I'm not mad at the person who did win it. Do you know that there are 3 former MVPs that are going to be in the finals this year? We got Asia Wilson, who won in 20 and 22. We got Stewie, who I just mentioned, who is the current reigning MVP and also won it in 2018. And Jonquel Jones, who won the MVP in 21.
Right,
so
she formerly played with the Suns.
This is going to be a very star-packed series. It's the Liberty better represent. That's all I'm saying.
It's their fifth trip to the WNBA finals. The first time since 2002. They haven't won any yet, so let's hope they could bring the hardware home back to Brooklyn and represent.
Fingers crossed. Let's go. Aces
looking to repeat because they are kind of a monster. Both teams are super teams. In the history of the WNBA, these are the 2 teams with the highest winning percentages of all time at an 826 clip. So it's definitely going to be one hell of a series. I think it's going to go 5, man. I don't see a sweep or a domination in either way. In the regular season, the Liberty, they won 3 out of the 4 meetings. So they do have a sort of a psychological advantage. But the way the Aces are playing now, you can never tell, man.
Absolutely.
They're clicking on
something. The playoffs is a whole different animal from the regular season. But to your point, you know, it definitely helps the Liberty to go into the finals with that confidence, knowing that they've beat the Aces and they absolutely can. Whereas, you know, the Aces, they're really looking to cement themselves in the WNBA history books as well, trying to become the first team since 2002?
The LA Sparks.
Yes, the first team to repeat in the WNBA as champions since 2002. Shout out to Lisa Leslie. Shout out to Michael Cooper.
Yep, exactly. So we're going to take a look at that series. It starts on Sunday at about 2 o'clock. It's tip-off time. So, let's
Sunday,
go
3 p.m. in Vegas.
Right.
Cool.
So Dame Dollar now moving along to the men's side of the round the ball around the world. Your man Dame Dollar, like I was telling you last week, got traded. I didn't think Milwaukee was his landing spot. I thought he was going to hit the East Coast a little harder. But he's in Milwaukee with your man Giannis Antetokounmpo, and they're now the favorites in the East to win the conference. What are your thoughts on that?
I think they are a favorite. I don't know that they are the absolute favorite right now. So Jokic was the MVP, but in my mind, Giannis is still the best player in the league to me. A healthy Giannis is absolutely the best player in the league. And the one thing that Dame and Giannis both have now that they have never had in their careers was I don't even want to say sidekick, a complimentary player that's on their level.
Complimentary all-stars. He's never
Compliments-
played with another
superstar.
Right. He never played with another superstar.
So I think the only question in that regard for Milwaukee is how the two of them will work together. Everybody right now is saying that that'll probably be the deadliest pick and roll combination in the league. It remains to be seen. You know, chemistry has to grow. It just doesn't happen like that. So as great as both of those players are, they still have to develop chemistry. The Bucks took a step back with their shooting and their defense, losing Grayson Allen, aka Trippy White, and Drew Holiday, who went to the Portland Trailblazers and then was turned around and flipped to Boston. So that brings up my next point about I don't think it's such a cakewalk for Milwaukee, because in Boston now we're talking about them having the one thing that they haven't had in a long time, and that's an all-star caliber point guard. Drew Holiday plays both sides of the ball. And that's going to be
one of the best two-way players in the league.
One of probably top 3 as far as two-way players in the league. And with playing with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, when you have a floor general like Drew Holiday that not only can control the tempo of the game, but also is a stalwart defender, you can't help but imagine that Boston has a lot of promise. I'm a Knicks fan, and I don't love anything Boston, but I admire and respect what they've put together up there in Beantown. And then again, we can't forget about Porzingis. If he's healthy towards the latter part of the season, Boston is going to be a team that nobody wants to face.
They need him as like a fourth option, because you got Tatum, you got Jay Brown, you got Drew Holiday now. Porzingis could be like the fourth option. They don't even need him to be hold on. They don't even need him to be how the Knicks wanted him to be. And then they can also either they could go big with Al Horford, or they could go to a smaller lineup. What I'm saying to your point is that Porzingis, we don't need him in Boston to be a killer in order for them to be very competitive with the Bucks, because the loss of Drew Holiday is going to be felt. I think it's going to be felt tremendously by the Bucks. And like you said, I don't think it's a layup, man. I don't think it's a layup.
So let's run down the in the trade. Damian Lillard goes to Milwaukee. Portland gets DeAndre Ayton, rookie forward Toumani Camara from Dayton, and Drew Holiday, who they flipped to Boston. They also got 29 unprotected first round pick and two pick swaps. Phoenix gets Yusuf Nurkic, Grayson, Trippy White, Allen, and
your man's in them.
And 6'3" guard Keon Johnson.
Yeah. Dame and Drew Holiday were the main kegs in that trade. The rest of them cats are serviceable, but we're really gonna look and see what Dame and what Drew brings to the table as far as making a difference in that race in the Eastern Conference. DeAndre Ayton, they calling him dominating or some BS now. I don't know. I gotta see him show up, man.
It's nobody in the league calling him.
He
dominating.
Is. They was talking
nobody
about it
but
now.
Him. Nobody
no, they calling him that in Phoenix. What? No, not Phoenix. Pardon me. Where they shipped him off to? Portland.
Yeah.
Yeah, they calling him that in Portland. But anyway, he got to
show
that.
Up,
man.
I think he's calling himself that. Oh, also to mention, Portland gets Malcolm Brogdon, Robert Time Lord Williams, and 2 first-round picks, 2024 from the Warriors and a 29 first-round unprotected pick from Boston. So I think it's a win-win for everyone. Phoenix shores up their bench.
Now, you know who lost?
Who?
Miami.
Miami wasn't part of the trade, but as far as teams that were in the trade.
Miami, remember, he wanted to go to Miami. That was his landing spot. He wanted to go play with Jimmy Buckets. They lost out on that. You know who else lost?
Who?
The Knicks. remember, I was talking about that last week. They should have tried to get Drew Holiday, man. They wasn't on their job, man.
Why?
Because they need a player of his caliber. Besides Brunson, and we're not going to talk about your man Randall, because in the playoff, he turns into 17, 8, and 5. So we ain't talking about Randall, but your man Brunson definitely needs some help because he plays the whole game. Drew Holiday would have been a nice compliment to him, man. Well, you don't want to send nobody to New York. Every time I say, yo, let's send this dude over there, New York could use that dude. You be like, why? So you satisfied with the lineup New York got?
It's not about satisfaction, but every player, I'm gonna tell you,
you don't want to
a
make
lot
no
of times.
moves
A lot of times when people think about a fit, they only think about talent. And I keep telling you, you got to put money into the equation.
That's what it is.
You got to put money because Drew Holiday is look what
you just bigged up Drew Holiday. Now you like
right, but look what Portland got for him. Look what Portland got for Drew Holiday. I think that would have been a lot for the Knicks to give up. Like right now, we're probably I think our bigger need, a bigger need for the Knicks than Drew Holiday is a dynamic wing, an athletic wing, somebody who can defend 3 or 4 positions,
right,
and can hit an open 3-pointer at least a 35% clip. I mean, I got high hopes for my man RJ, but I don't think he's that guy. I still think we're one piece away.
You just described Drew Holiday, bro.
Drew Holiday defends 2 positions. He's a point guard, man.
But he defends 3 positions, man. You can't just limit him to his size, bro. But the problem I have with Knicks fans like yourself, which I'm not attacking you personally, y'all never want to make no moves. Y'all never want to give up rookies or young players that we have who's underperforming. Y'all want to hold on to them for like 3-5 years. And by the time that happens, ain't nobody in the league wants them. They probably got injured, things like that. How long are you going to hold on to the RJ Barrett experiment?
Well, right now, if RJ only matches his output for last season, he'll still be worth the money because he's only making about $27 million a year.
I don't care how much he's making.
He's played every game. He's durable. He's a willing defender, if not a great defender. I mean, you have to upgrade a position of need, not just add somebody who's a star. You sound like
hold on to these cats. Don't say Stephen A. Smith. My name
you sound exactly like Stephen A. Because Stephen A. was harping on Damian Lillard after we got Brunson.
I'm not talking about Damian Lillard. As a New York fan, I wasn't talking about Damian Lillard. Nah, I didn't think that was realistic. Anytime I bring up, yo, New York should try this, New York should try that, you be like, why? Why? But we're going to continue talking about the Knicks because it's going to be a long season. Let's talk about another loser in this whole, type of situation where a lot of moves was made before the season started. It was the Philadelphia 76ers. They trying to manage the drama, your man James Harden, who did not attend media day, which was yesterday. And he continues to seek a trade. Now he's talking about he's going to join the team. How you feeling your man's in them with that bullshit?
I haven't been feeling James Harden
since he wore the fat man suit.
since he wore that fat suit in Houston. That respect for his talent, but his character, man.
Well, you just said talent ain't everything, bro.
Right. Talent is not everything. That's why I said I respect his talent, but his character.
His talent
he's not a cat. He's a selfish player, dog. He's selfish.
That's negating his talent.
He's selfish. He's definitely a selfish player. And
he's affecting Embiid also, bro.
Absolutely. Because I think Embiid is tired of the drama. Like,
right.
I don't even understand it. And, for a guy that basically has bowed to James Harden's every beck and call.
Right.
I don't see how he's talking about he'll never play in Philly as long as that general manager's there. Daryl Morey held him down from Houston till now. He's done and everything that James Harden has asked. So, like I said, cats that
James Harden is going out like a sucker. Let's just keep it a buck.
He absolutely is, man. I'm sorry to see how his career is going, man. And the more he talks and the more these antics that he's a part of, it just devalues him and makes him more of a pariah to any teams that might be interested.
I saw signs of that from when he was in Houston, and he was doing all that.
The fat suit. the fat suit.
No, even before that, when he was doing all that tricking and he was out in the nightlife in Houston, and even before that, he showed signs of not being.
I think the difference with
player.
I think the difference with him and other players in that regard is he's just in the spotlight a lot. So
a lot of them in the spotlight. That ain't no excuse. LeBron is the biggest NBA star in the world, and he still carries himself, official. Even if he did something that you may find questionable, you'll never hear or know about it because he carries himself a certain way. So with the 76ers and Harden, do you think he's going to remain on the team?
I think much like Dame, the Dame trade, I think there's going to be some unknown trade that comes, because at this point it's an irreparable relationship. He can't go back to Philly. I'm pretty sure his teammates are over the drama and the antics. I know Daryl Morey probably is, and then the owners are probably as well. James Harden is a I want my way or I want out kind of player, and I can't see any contending team at that wanting to be a part of that. At the end of the day,
the highway for James Harden, bro.
Right. At the end of the day, I think the best thing for him to do would be to suck it up, be a big boy, grow up, go back to Philly.
Suck it up part, but
go back to Philly, ball out. He's in a contract year.
Yeah.
Go back to Philly, ball out. Show some team, show some GM,
man,
that you can toe the line, that you can be a team player.
Done for him, man. He's damaged his legacy.
He can still play. I think big paydays are done for him, but there's some team out there that's going to want to fill seats. A Charlotte or
he was being talked about as one of the greatest players. He's not in that conversation no more.
Oh, let me tell you, that is probably one of the biggest travesties in sports, was James Harden making that top 75 list. I'm sorry.
We're gonna have to go through that list, because I think that list is pretty questionable. How you had some players on the top 50 list who didn't even make the top 75 list. And one of your mans I'm gonna be gunning for is the stat cruncher, the stat muncher, your man Russell Westbrook, man. But we're gonna have to move on now. Jimmy Butler, man, steals a show with the new hairstyle that expresses what he said. He's expressing his emotions. Did you see your man Jimmy Butler?
We don't have to take our clothes off to have a good time. What
was he going for?
Tell him, Jimmy.
What was he going for with that?
Jimmy Butler was super duper trolling right here. That's exactly what he was trolling everybody, because he did the video when the Milwaukee Bucks and Portland trade was announced, and it was discovered that Miami is not getting Dame Lillard. And remember, he did the video, I think it was on Instagram, with tongue in cheek. He was like, I think Portland, this trade needs to be investigated for tampering. And there were people that actually took him serious. He was trolling on that. Jimmy Butler is not going to come out and publicly say that anyone needs to be investigated for tampering. But he was definitely in his feelings.
This was for Dame not getting to the Heat?
Exactly. Because I think the same day that the trade was announced, he went on Instagram and made a video talking about, this is tampering and there needs to be an investigation, which it was a joke. He was playing, he wasn't serious, but there were some people that took him serious.
Who tampered though?
Nobody. I think he's just saying that. And I think that's the one reason he did say that, is because there's no proof that there was any tampering. But the funny part is so everybody thinks I'm in my feelings. All right, I'm gonna show you how I'm in my feelings. Super duper in my feelings anymore.
So what did he go for? The Ron O'Neal Superfly look?
So I couldn't even tell you, man. But
Snoop Dogg, what was he going for?
I thought it was a goth look. He came in to the arena with the piercings and all black, baggy with a black trench coat.
So we gonna have to see him like this for the whole season, my G?
No, because it's just like last year when he did the dreads, for media day and stuff. And then when the season started, he went back to a pretty, well, I won't say normal, but a normal for the NBA hairstyle. Hairstyle.
Wow. So
but yeah, I think this
Paul Thomas. So he gonna switch this up.
I definitely think this is just publicity, just him goofing. I absolutely cannot see him with his hair straightened before every game this season.
Nah, I can't do it either, man. Jimmy Buckets, if you're out there listening, man, get off the Carl Thomas train and stop being so emotional, man. And suit up, man. Get your hair, get them braids back, man. He used to rock the crazy cornrows and the dreads last year, man.
I was trying to figure out if that's his real hair or a lace front. I mean, I know his hair is kind of, like he had the twist and then he had the cornrows. I don't know if his hair grew that much.
Reach out to his stylist and see, bro.
Yeah, because
definitely have to wait and see on that one.
Dudes with lace fronts is nothing new nowadays,
I know. I ain't trying to get off too much into that because we're man's man on this show, Sports in the City, keeping it gritty. All right, man, we moving along, man. Your man Jimmy Buckets is a trip. Live from the Diamond, man. The AL and NL Wild Card start tonight. Matter of fact, they actually played. The Rangers beat the Tampa Bay Devil Rays 4-0 in the opening game, and you have current game on right now, which is the Blue Jays and the Minnesota Twins. You got any thoughts on that? It's the wild card round.
I'm going chalk all the way. Without getting too much into each game.
Right.
I think the NLCS will be LA and Atlanta. I'm going chalk. I'm going chalk all the way, man. LA and Atlanta, Houston and Baltimore. Eventually, I think Houston's gonna find a way to pull it out like they always do, or like they've been doing for the last few years, and make it back to the series. And I think LA, Atlanta was hot this year, but when's the last time the team who had the best record in the league won the World Series?
The last time, I think that was I looked that up earlier. I think it was
the Boston. Boston in 2018 was the last team with the best record that went on to win the World Series.
I have to check that because I know the Dodgers won 2 years ago. When
right,
they won the first one, they had the best record at the time. I
don't
know if they had it overall, but I know they came out the National League. But definitely, we're gonna take it back to the AL, who are hosting the current games right now. Minnesota Twins beat the Toronto Blue Jays in Game 1 of their wild card series 3-1, and the next game on tap will be tonight. Will be the Arizona Diamondbacks at the Milwaukee Brewers, who's the wild card coming out of the National League. Who do you think has that series?
Well, sticking with my theme of going chalk, I'd have to go with the highest.
But they ain't playing though. The Braves and the Dodgers have a bye. They're not gonna play until October 7th, which is Saturday. So you will have to deal with the wild cards for right now. But the thing about the wild cards is that they're really interesting because you scratch and claw to get into the wild card series, and then now you lose, you go home, and you didn't have time to rest after the season. The regular season was over. Like the Rangers, they lost their division by 1 game. Matter of fact, by a tiebreaker to the Astros. And because of that now, the Astros and Dusty Baker, they get a week off and they get to rest up and heal their wounds while the Rangers have to play, although they won today.
It's kind of like the rich get richer.
Yeah. So I'm going with the Milwaukee Brewers because the Diamondbacks limped into the playoffs. For Game 1 tonight, I'm calling the Milwaukee Brewers, and I think they'll take the series 2-3.
I'm with you on that one.
And then we also have after that the Miami Marlins at the Philadelphia Phillies. So
that's probably going to be the tightest series. That's probably going to be the tightest series, or tightest opening round series, shall I say. That one could definitely go either way.
That's going to definitely be a close series between the Marlins and the Phillies. But I think the Phillies are just too stacked. Their lineup is too formidable, and they're gonna beat the Marlins. Although the Marlins find ways to win close games, when it comes to playoff time, I think the Phillies are gonna show that they are a formidable team, and they're gonna repeat from their performance of last year. And they may even surprise either your Braves or your Dodgers, who you favoring to win it all, one of those two teams.
No, not the Braves or the Dodgers. I said Houston.
Well, no, in the National League.
Oh, got you. Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So,
absolutely.
But I think that the Phillies might have a chance of upsetting either one of them teams. Because like we discussed, all you got to do is get hot at the right time, a week or two, and you be the best team on the planet, and you can win the whole chip, man. So we're gonna definitely move on from that. You have any predictions? Your Astros are coming out the AL, and you gotta pick a horse, man. The Dodgers or the Braves?
I would say if I had to ride with anybody, let's go with the Dodgers.
Okay, fair enough. And then we also have the Baltimore Orioles. They're gonna play the winner of the Rangers and the Rays, and then your Astros are gonna play the winner of the Blue Jays and the Twins. Moving on to the NL. Los Angeles Dodgers will face the winner of the Diamondbacks and the Brewers. So Atlanta Braves will play the winner of the Marlins and the Phillies. So I'm gonna definitely have my eyes set on that Atlanta Braves versus the winner of the Marlins and the Phillies, because I think whoever wins that series between the Marlins and the Phillies will be the hottest team at that time. And you've been sitting up, so it's gonna be very interesting. I have to give some condolences, man, to the Mets for having a terrible season. They fired Buck Showalter after the team won 101 games last year, bro, and he won Manager of the Year. So that was kind of odd, but I guess they brought in a new president of baseball operations, and Buck wasn't his manager of choice.
Absolutely. Yep.
So he's going to bring in somebody else. But on a more somber note, Brooks Robinson passes away at the age of 86. Now, Brooks Robinson was arguably the greatest third baseman to ever live. Some people say Mike Smith. Some people, have different opinions on that. But the man won like 16 gold gloves, made 18 all-star teams, man. 2,800 hits, about 356 home runs. Hall of Famer. He's in the Orioles Hall of Fame. He's in the Baseball Hall of Fame. And although some of you may be too young to have seen him play live, if you've seen Brooks Robinson, if you have not seen Brooks Robinson, go look him up and just go watch some footage of the man play third base. They call that the hot corner, and his hands were immaculate, man, over there at third base, man. So we definitely have to give condolences to the Robinson family on the passing of the matriarch of that family, Mr. Brooks Robinson. And
absolutely, condolences.
Have to give condolences also to Tim Wakefield, who died at the age of 57, man.
Knuckleball King, salute.
Definitely Knuckleball King. He was the third all-time winningest pitcher in Boston Red Sox history with 186 games, man. And he's the one that Boone hit that home run off of in the seventh game of the 2007 World ALCS. Right. And then he came back the next year and he helped them to end the curse of the Bambino in 2008. So definitely condolences to the Wakefield family. He was a great athlete. He started off as an infielder and he converted himself to a pitcher and he started practicing that vicious knuckleball, man. So condolences.
Well respected player, from what I understand. Well respected.
Yeah, let's have a moment of silence for Brooks Robinson and Tim Wakefield, man, passing away, man. Salute. Moving along, man. Going on to NFL helmet to helmet. The Detroit Lions. Are the Detroit Lions real? Or they're raw as real as their bite? The Lions beat the Packers 34-20. And that was the final score, man. They dominated on both sides of the ball. Jordan Love looked like he was going to try to bring the Packers back, but it wasn't happening, man. The Lions were just too quick. They were hitting too hard, and they were running crisp passing plays and crisp running plays. And their defense is pretty stout. It's hard to score on them boys.
Absolutely. It's definitely going to be a tough year for anybody that the Lions definitely have a chip on their shoulder. It's a team that I won't even say historically has been, I won't say a laughing stock, but has definitely underachieved. I mean, to the point where one of the greatest running backs in the history of the game is like, no mas. I can't do this with y'all no more.
Yeah, that was the
And,
last time they made the
Barry
playoffs.
Sanders
Was when
stepped
Barry
away.
Sanders was playing. So
And if I'm not mistaken, they're one of the few teams in the league that do not have a Super Bowl to their credit. Am I not correct?
No, they don't. They do not have a Super Bowl in the modern era. They might have won something before before it was called a Super Bowl, but no, they don't. So, you think they real? Lions and Tigers and Bears, oh my. Are the Lions for real, bro?
I think so. I mean, you can't they are what their record says they are, man. They've been playing good quality football. They have a pretty decent quarterback. You know, I don't see why what they're doing right now should be discounted in any way. They definitely are the best team in that division. And I can only think of maybe, well, two teams, of course, Philly and San Fran, that are absolutely better than them. But outside of Philly and San Fran, I can't think of any other teams that are head and shoulders better or even marginally better than Detroit right now. Detroit is probably the third best team in the NFC.
Nah, I disagree. I beg to disagree, my brother.
They're
3-1. They're 3-1. They have to. I have to see them beat the Cowboys. Philly been winning by the hairs of their chinny chin chin. You know, they played the Washington Commanders this past weekend, and the Commanders, instead of going for the win, played for a tie, and then they lost in overtime. I believe 34-31 was the final score. But Philly has not been winning the same way that they were dominating last year. So I have to see the Lions beat Philly, although they're not the same team as last year. I have to see them beat the 49ers. I have the 49ers as the front runners right now. I have Philadelphia Eagles number 2 in my power rankings. Then I have the Cowboys, and then possibly the Lions will come in fourth in my power rankings in the NFC. I have to see them beat the Cowboys first before I just start crowning them.
Four games is, even outside of the dominating performances, you know, the performance so far this season by San Francisco. Games.
Who have they played?
Who has San Francisco played?
Yeah, who San Francisco beat that they beat up on your Giants, right?
Right.
And who have they played? They didn't play anybody that was that formidable. Who they played so far?
Well, let's pull up their record right now, and I'll tell you who they played.
Yeah,
I mean, at the end, so
that was a fluke, Virginia. One game don't make the season. They were exposed, and then what they do the following week? They came back 38-3 and mollywopped the Patriots. So AZ, that game against Arizona was like 2 weeks ago. We moved on from that, baby. They moved on from that. They whopped the Patriots. 38-3 is a whopping. All right, so those 49ers.
So you're saying the true test.
Who else they beat?
So you're saying their true test will be this weekend when they face your Cowboys?
That's going to be a test for both teams, because that's going to have to answer questions for the Cowboys, and that's going to have to answer questions for the 49ers.
Well, that'll definitely be the best team that San Fran has played this season, but it's more than just who they're beating. It's how San Fran has scored 30 or more in 4 straight games. And Christian McCaffrey has made every other running back in the league look like, I don't know, like a rookie.
He's always been like that from when he was.
Christian McCaffrey, when healthy, is a monster. But
he's always been like that, and he's been a two. He could run, and he could catch and run out of the backfield. And then the fact that he's playing with Deebo Samuel, you can't just key in on Christian McCaffrey, but he is doing some tremendous things. He's rushed for over 600 yards from scrimmage. He scored consecutive touchdowns in about, I believe, it's 13 games. He broke Jerry Rice's record. He's up there with some elite company. Like as long as he's healthy, right? We're gonna have to wait and see. But I want to see how he performs. To your question, they beat the Steelers 30-7 in week 1.
Yep.
Are you scared of the Steelers right now?
Well, let's go from that.
Yes, no, man.
Let's go from the any given Sunday. Listen,
Nah,
don't ask me who I'm afraid of, because
no,
the way
30-7.
The way my team is played, I'm afraid of everybody, dog. All right, everybody who the Giants face this season so far will strike fear in my heart going forward. All right.
I think Debo's a little banged up, if I'm not mistaken. I think Debo's a little banged up, man. So that was week 1, right? The 49ers beat up on the Steelers 30-7. Week 2 now, they beat the Rams 30-23, which was a close game. They're division rivals, so maybe they just have their number. But they didn't beat the brakes off of the Rams. Then week 3.
I'll say this: the mark of a good team is a team that beats people on their schedule that they're expected to beat. So far, I don't have anything bad to say about San Francisco. I can't detract at all from what they've done.
Undefeated?
I wouldn't go so far as to say they'd go undefeated. I mean, that is pretty unlikely. But what I will say is they look so dominant so far in these first 4 games that I can't see them being an underdog against any team that they face this season.
Well, when they play the Phillies, the Eagles,
right? It's like we mentioned, man. It's an any given Sunday kind of thing, and any team can be beat on any Sunday. But if you play up to your potential, and if everybody's healthy, we got to talk about injuries. You just mentioned something about Debo. Injuries definitely play a part. He's hurt. He's not injured. He's not out. He might not be 100%. But you definitely can't discount what they've been doing just because of the caliber of the opponents that they've been playing. I mean, you play who's on your schedule.
But they saying that about everybody, though.
Absolutely. But so let's look at Philly's record. Who has Philly beaten?
Philly.
So people see this as a sign, they don't know what to think.
Philly's definitely. Well, I just mentioned they just beat the Commanders this past weekend, and they barely beat them. They beat them in overtime.
Philly gave up 20 points to the Patriots, gave up 28 points to Minnesota. Yeah, they stepped on Tampa Bay, only 11 points, but
I tell you, the Commanders
squeaked by Washington.
The Commanders are a better team than most of the teams that the 49ers have played. I'll tell you that much. So we're gonna move on.
Everyone has an opinion.
It's a small sample size, man. We ain't dealing with no opinions, brother. The games are gonna tell us what it is week to week. We don't get too caught up in the hype. We keep it real. But I'm just saying, though, the 49ers really haven't beat anybody that's formidable. I think Washington was the best team that they played, and for Philadelphia also. So we're gonna move on from that. The Bills bludgeoned the Finns by 4 touchdowns, though. That was definitely an amazing game. They doubled them up by 4 touchdowns, 48-20, showing that they are still the best in the East. They still the beast in the East, in the AFC East Conference, where the Jets are stinking it up. But what do you think about the Bills? Are they the best team in the AFC?
Right now they are.
Right now, yeah.
Right now they are. It's a week-to-week thing, but
right.
They definitely. I mean, Josh Allen, 5 touchdowns in that game.
Right, and I think he ran for another one.
Well, 4 throwing and 1 rushing.
Exactly.
4 throwing and 1 rushing. They put up almost 500 yards on Miami.
That was crazy. They beat them at their own game because everybody was touting Miami as the best offense in the whole NFL. And then they just ran into a roadblock in the Buffalo Bills, man. They dominated them at every facet of the game. And Josh Allen most importantly, Josh Allen was not turning the ball over. So that was very important for the
Bingo.
Buffalo
He
Bills.
definitely played a lot smarter, a lot more under control. So that definitely factored into their success. Josh Allen playing under control, playing smart football makes Buffalo definitely
much better team.
A dangerous
Definitely
team.
a Super Bowl
Definitely
contender.
A dangerous team and perennial division contenders.
Conference. They could contend for the conference. Right now, because you have the Cincinnati Bengals, they're not as stout as they used to be last year. You know, the Kansas City Chiefs are the usual suspects. They're going to be there. So in the AFC, who's your top 3 to 5 teams right now?
Top 3 to 5 in the AFC. So,
yeah, because, you know, might not mention the other 2 because they might not be, you might not trust them like that. So you ain't going to even put them in the top 5. But I know there's at least 3 teams that you could say, like, they're showing a pattern of what's to come unless they have major injuries.
Right now, okay, I'll say top 4, maybe not top 3, top 4. I'll go in the AFC. I'll go Buffalo, KC, Miami, and Baltimore.
Okay. The Ravens did have an impressive victory over the weekend over the Browns, 28-3. Deshaun Watson, I think he's hurt, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So
here's another news flash. It was reported today that he was cleared to play in that game Sunday.
Oh, he was.
But told the trainers and the coach, I'm not ready to go, and sat out that game. So
wow. Well, he knows his body better than anybody, I guess.
Take that for what you will. Chargers, definitely Virginia Slim. We definitely gotta well, we give the Chargers props for their talent, but what's their record now? I think the Chargers are 1-3 also, aren't they?
Yeah, they're 1-3. The best we can talk about the Chargers is Khalil Mack, who had 6 sacks this past Sunday.
Monstrous.
He's a monster.
Performance.
He's a monster. So other than that, though, the Chargers are 1-3. So we're not really talking about the Chargers. They're down with the orphanage. They're down in the orphanage with the Giants and the Jets. So we don't really talk about. They're not in our network. Oh, they're 2-2. Okay, thank you for that info. Moving on, talking about those orphans called the Jets. Zach Wilson plays his best game of the season, throwing 2 touchdowns and no interceptions, no INTs. But the Jets still lost 23-20 to the Chiefs. Although bringing the pressure to Mahomes, forcing 2 INTs out of the great quarterback. And your girl Taylor Swift was in the building. Talk about that game. I'm tired of Taylor Swift now, man.
Man, let me tell you, it was crazy watching NFL shows. It was crazy watching NFL shows on Sunday, and anytime, like, they could not talk about Kansas City without talking about Taylor Swift. Like, we're watching a football like, even every single broadcast, every channel, Fox, NFL Network, ESPN, everybody is talking about Taylor Swift. Now, I'll give it. Taylor Swift has definitely raised the profile of the NFL. You know, however many of her followers. I actually saw a report. It was it wasn't a news. It was one of the sports programs, one of the NFL sports programs, Sunday evening. And they were talking about a girl who's a Taylor Swift fan and went out and bought tickets to go to the Jets game and brought, Taylor Swift is a player of the week, for real. But went out and bought a Travis Kelce jersey, and she was a Taylor Swift fan, bought a Travis Kelce jersey, bought tickets to the Jets game just to be there in the arena while Taylor Swift was there.
I think that's dumb, man, because, like, come on, man, really? So you just went to the game, you did all that just because Taylor Swift was up in the box, man. Let's knock it off already, man. Hold on, let me say this. To your point, God, to your point. Because we're not going to give Taylor Swift all them props. Yes, Travis Kelce's jersey sales did spike. There are people who are going to check in because Taylor Swift is going to be at the game, but that's not going to last. It's not going to last at all, man. At all. Because they're casual fans. They're not going to be there in the next 3 to 4 to 5 weeks when she's not in the game. But we're gonna move on along, and we're gonna have the Taylor Swift and the Swiftie watch going on next week. But Wilson's play did improve. The Giants fall again in prime time, man, getting beat up. They got handled by the Seahawks 24-3. And I don't know if we got enough time to get into that right now because there's so much to dissect with them Giants. And I'm not gonna put you through it. I'm not gonna put you through it. I'm not gonna put you through it right now. But I will say this: that Toy Story animation game, I did peep that, and that was kind of fun to watch, man, because they had it in real time. I don't know if we had any pictures or footage of that, but yeah, that was definitely something very interesting. I would like to see more games in that animation type of style. You know what's funny?
Along the lines of Taylor Swift, that's the NFL reaching out for more fans because you're putting it on the Disney Channel. You're incorporating Toy Story into it and having toys play a football game. So that's bringing a younger audience to the game. I mean, the NFL is just winning right now.
Let me just say this. They're doing this because that's what they have to do is market to get new fans. But the NFL is a multi-billion-dollar industry. They don't need Taylor Swift. They don't even really need to do the animation. But the fact that they're incorporating the animation with the actual game in real time is bananas. I'd rather watch that, the game and the animation, than Taylor Swift. I don't give a damn about Taylor Swift, man.
Let me ask you a question.
Hype about Beyonce when she attends sporting games, and she's done that. So I'm not a big fan of all this hype.
Yeah, well, Beyonce isn't dating a player, a major.
Bro, I don't care who she's dating, bro.
It's a whole different dynamic. It's a bad comparison, I think. But let me ask you this question: you say you watched the Toy Story football game. Did they have commentating in that?
Yeah, the regular commentators, Booger McFarlane. They had the commentators there, bro.
But they just showed the toys playing the game.
Right, and they had it in the Andy's room, and they had Buzz Lightyear and all of that, man. So we definitely, man, gonna watch that. We're gonna watch that.
Shout out to Disney Channel. Shout out to NFL.
ESPN Plus. I'm not a big fan of it though. But an interesting fact as we wrapping it up, reaching the summit, man. You know that Kansas, University of Kentucky, Duke, and North Carolina were all undefeated coming into this week of college football. And they're usually powers in NCAA basketball, but they all are either 3-1 or 4-0 now.
That's crazy. That's crazy for Duke and North Carolina to be in the top 25 in football.
In football. Correct. We're going to get into more of the standings in the college as the season is heating up.
Moving along, Colorado, as we said, as we know, they've fallen out of the top 25.
Over, boy. I think they can get back on
track this weekend. They got Arizona State. I think they can get back on track.
But like you said, the cakewalk, the honeymoon is over. Moving along to mano a mano, Canelo defeats Charlo in unanimous decision. I don't think it was even close, man, because Canelo he used the super middle heavyweight, and Charlo was the super junior middleweight. He didn't have any size to deal with Canelo.
Yeah, he had to go up 2 weight classes.
Yeah, I give him props for even having the courage to do that, because a lot of fighters don't do that. I used to call out Floyd for not being able to jump up a weight or two when he was still an active boxer, and he would rather fight exhibitions than fight the next person who could possibly beat him. But that's another story. But props to Charlo for even getting in the ring with Canelo. Is he the pound for pound best right now, do you?
Canelo?
Correct.
Pound for pound, he I don't know, because you still got Bud out there, man.
Right.
Bud is a monster, but no disrespect and no detracting at all from Canelo's career. There's talk right now that he probably passed Chavez as the greatest Mexican fighter. That's debatable. You know, everyone has an opinion. Everyone has an opinion, but definitely salute to that guy and salute to the fact that he backs down from no one, welcomes all challenges.
Yeah, Canelo is definitely in the conversation as one of the greatest Mexican fighters of all time. You know, everyone does have an opinion, but we definitely gonna be riding with the smart opinion. You know, because everyone has one. I don't mean we gotta listen to them pop that shit all the time, bro. But
I'll say this about the fight.
What?
If you didn't watch the fight and you heard about the fight, you would think that they carried Charlo out of the ring on a stretcher. I'll say this much about Charlo. He
was outclassed, though.
He was definitely outclassed.
He was outclassed.
To Alvarez's point, he even made, I forgot where it was, I read it, but he made a point, like at one point, he was just trying to survive. He was just trying to keep from getting knocked out as opposed to being aggressive and fighting.
Well, that's what Bud Crawford said. Bud Crawford was in the arena at ringside, and he said he couldn't give Charlo no props because he was just trying to survive instead of trying to win. He was like, when you in there, you got to try to win. You can't just try to survive.
You know what's so funny?
That's what it was.
You know what's so funny? When he took that knee in the 7th, which is the equivalent of two dudes fighting in the street, and one dude is like, all right, hold up, time out.
I'm out of breath. Yeah, I'm looking at the picture right now when he took, I'm looking at the picture right now when he had to take the knee. But I'm not taking anything away from Charlo. He's still a hell of a fighter. Going up 2 classes to fight someone like Canelo Alvarez is a courageous thing to do. Maybe he just didn't have it, man. Maybe he was. He
can definitely. I give it to him. He can definitely take a punch because, like I said, at the end of the fight, when they both, when they were interviewing Charlo, he didn't look like he got beat up or anything, but he was definitely outclassed from the opening bell to the end of the 12th. He had no wins. Right.
1.
He was like, hold on a second.
2.
Hold on a second.
3.
That one hurt.
Oh, he took this. He took the standing 8 count, but he got up off his knee, man.
Oh yeah, he was like, oh, hold up, man, hold up. I need to catch my breath or something.
But yo, Canelo, you can see his power punches affecting Charlo a lot, man. He went
Canelo's
up in
way Look how he's built.
Yeah, man. So shout out to both fighters, man, because I always say, man, it takes a lot of courage to get into the ring with somebody trying to knock your head off, man, and you still could survive that, man, or prevail victorious. So
and shouts out to those cats for both being classy before and after the fight.
Correct. I respect that.
Charlo didn't throw no excuses out there. He didn't make any excuses or anything. He knew, I got in there and I got my ass whooped, but
it is what it is.
I stepped up to the challenge because I fear no man, kind of thing. I think he needs to slow down that Bud Crawford talk though.
Well, we gonna have to see, because it's easy to talk on the sideline, Buds, but so we gonna have to see where Jamel takes his career next. But definitely salute to both fighters. Let's close it out now with your top 5. Your top 5 this week.
So this week, the top 5 in honor of hip hop's 50th anniversary. Top 5 rapper actors. Let me begin by saying it was hard coming up with general criteria for who made the list. I tried to do it by album sales. Certain artists had the album sales, but their movies were, let's just say, trash. There's certain artists who did great in movies or had a movie or 2 where they were phenomenal, but their acting experience was limited. Then you have artists who are known now more for movies than for their record sales. So with that being said, let's get right into my top 5 list of rapper actors. Coming in at number 5. Got to give it up to this man who has attached himself to probably one of the most successful action franchises in the last 20 years, Fast and Furious. Number 5 is Ludacris, a wordsmith, lyrical. Doesn't get as much credit as I think he deserves in the game because he was more of a lighthearted party kind of rapper as opposed to gritty street tales and things of that nature. But salute to Ludacris at number 5. Number 4, actually, and this is a tie between number 4 and number 3. You could flip-flop either way, but I have it number 4 and number 3 and number 4, Common and 50 Cent. Common, his body of work over the last few years is incredible. He's a diverse actor. He's done different types of movies, dramas, rom-coms, action adventure movies. He's definitely expanded his talent base as far as the movies that he's been a part of. And he's definitely a well-respected actor. Well-respected rapper throughout the years, iconic with some pretty iconic songs. So shout out to Common. And then also, like I said, tied 3-4, you could switch them either way you want, is 50 Cent. He is a mogul. Musically, he's put out some of the best albums from New York in the last few years. He's definitely been, I won't say a diverse actor. His roles have been more toward the action or street type of genres. As a matter of fact, I heard he's in the new movie with the new Expendables movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger
and the boys,
with Stallone in them. So shouts out to 50 on that one.
Correct.
Coming in at number 2, is the man, the myth, the legend, Ice Cube, Mr. Big Three himself. Salute to Ice Cube for the Big Three Basketball League, number 1. Let's just put that out there. No better tie-in to sports than, as far as rappers, than Ice Cube right now, who's also had a slew of hit movies and has moved more towards the producing and directing spectrum with regards to movies right now, but has been a part of some pretty good movies throughout the years himself. Some pretty good not blockbuster movies, but movies that have been well received in the theaters. And last but not least, number 1, I don't know how there could be any question who the number 1 rapper actor is. Let's give it up for Mr. West Philadelphia himself, born and raised, Big Willie style, Will Smith, formerly of Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. Will Smith is probably the biggest box office star with regards to money that his movies have generated for actors. We could go down the list. One of my favorite movies that Will Smith is in has been The Pursuit of Happiness, where, listen, if there's a better rapper who is now an actor, you'll be hard-pressed to show him to me than Will Smith. Definitely has mastered his craft in the acting field, has become one of the biggest box office stars. And the little band that they tried to put on him for the Oscar snafu, that just slowed him down for a minute, because I imagine he's going to come back with a vengeance right now. And I think we're in store for many more great movies from Will Smith. So that concludes the top 5 rapper actors. Number 5, Ludacris. Number 3 and 4, Common and 50 Cent. Number 2, Ice Cube. And the number 1 rapper actor on my list is Big Willie style himself, Will Smith. Salute, Will.
Salute. I have to give some honorable mentions, man, to Ice-T, Tupac Shakur, definitely R.I.P. LL Cool J.
LL Cool J almost made the list, bro. His movie resume wasn't as good to me.
Mos Def, Method Man,
Mos Def,
Snoop Dogg, and DMX when he was living. So
we can't forget. I think a lot of people leave out Queen Latifah. Absolutely,
wasn't she on your list?
Actress. No, I was gonna put her on as well.
The Queen?
I bumped the Queen, bro. She only had 2 million in record sales.
But you said rappers turn actors.
Yeah, her. Well, like I said, I tried to have rappers whose musical careers were noteworthy, and Latifah was definitely a noteworthy rapper, but I think that was more so because she was a female than her actual skills, and not taking away anything from. Absolutely,
she can actually sing. She
absolutely. I'd probably, as far as pure acting skills, I'd probably put her under Will Smith. As far as top rapper actors, as far as acting skills.
Wow, living single. Who you calling a bitch?
UNITY. Yeah, absolutely.
But I ain't mad. I ain't mad at your list. But I
also honorable mention the Method Man.
Yeah, I said Meth, the RZA. Okay. Also got to give it to two of the originals from back in the days, actors and rapper turned actors, Kid and Play.
Absolutely, and also Groove, Chill from Groove Be Chill.
Right, he's on the CIS. CIS
CSI,
franchise,
absolutely,
CSI
absolutely,
franchise.
absolutely.
Well, you know, if we forgot anybody, what's your line you say? Play my hearts, not our minds.
Blame our hearts, not our minds.
All right, man. I think that was one hell of a show, man. Getting better and better. Thanks for those who were hitting us up on the chat. Definitely appreciate your support. Hit that like button, that subscribe button. Tell your family and friends, man. Sports in the City is the illest show coming up and coming, man. Me and my man BK Ty, my man Logic controlling the ones and the twos and the threes and the fours and all of that, man. Shout out to Brooklyn
Iran Network. Shouts out to BK. Shouts out to 757. Big up to Virginia. Big up Hampton Roads. Salute, salute, salute.
The Iran Union. And catch us on YouTube, Facebook, live, Sports in the City, live from the arena. That's
like
it,
and
man.
Subscribe. Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe, man.
We appreciate all the love, y'all.
We coming, man.
We coming.
Yo, Logic, man. Take us out, G.